Hey, good morning. Welcome back, everybody. Well, today's show is all about making things a little bit better. And I know it's hard to eat healthy. And I'm the first one who loves desserts and chocolate and all that kind of good stuff. But you have to be really careful these days. And I'm really excited to introduce to you a guy named Bill Porty, Dr. William Porty, who all the way from New York, who invented this is a really neat thing. It's a cutting board. And actually, Pete over at Cook's Corner sent me over one and said, take a look at this, see what you think. They're called it's called the Wonderboard. The
Wonderboard.
So you brought along some. Tell me all about them.
Sure. There are three here. Good. Glad you can see it. The Wonderboard is the modern cutting board. It's the cutting board that measures. You can do many things that you can't do with any other cutting board. You can cut, chop, and measure all in one place, all at one time. It saves time, cleanup, and in New York, where I'm from, space, because we don't have kitchens that are the size of your closets.
It's true.
And it's bacterial safe and dishwasher safe. Yes.
Why three colors?
Good question, Amy. There are three different ones. One's for vegetables and fresh foods, one for meats, and one for chicken and fish. They have the measurements you need for vegetables and fresh foods. It's in cups. For chicken and fish, it's in ounces, and for meats, it's in pounds. It also, each color-coded Wonderboard keeps raw poultry and chicken, raw poultry and meat separate from other foods.
And vegetables, you have to be so careful, that cross-contamination thing. And they wash up really nicely.
Really.
Inexpensive, they're not expensive. So, all right, I want to actually see how these all work. We're going to make jambalaya, 160 calories a serving, so I love that. Okay.
Right, so just to tell you something, the dishwasher safe, which makes it really...
Throw them right in the dishwasher, we like that.
Right in the dishwasher, right. So the reason I invented this or came up with this is about 14 years ago when I stopped smoking, I gained all this weight. I mean, just tons of weight. And a year and a half ago, I started running every day and then maybe eating things I now love but didn't like then, and always cooking as opposed to buying processed foods.
Sure.
And I dropped about the 50 pounds I had gained.
Good for you.
Thanks. And I'm also a physician and inventor, and I had done foods for kidney patients, which got me interested in kitchen gadgets. So the Wonderboard, let me just get...
Celery chopping here.
Right, celery chopping. No matter whether you cut big or cut small, you just slide over to the measuring area.
So we've got this one side, if you can see this board here, and it says here basically 1.5 cups if you were to fill up this whole area, 1 cup or ½ cup. So it's going to cut down. You know, sometimes when you're doing a recipe, you put in things in measuring cups and all these dishes and things like that. So that jumped out at me right away. How cool that is. This measures. So how much celery are we looking for this recipe?
Well, we're looking for the recipe. It's 1 cup. It's the Creole Triumvirate. It's 1 cup of onions, green pepper, and celery.
Okay.
So we already chopped up, just not take so much time, the green pepper and the onion, and I'll show how the celery works. I'm not the best chopper in the world.
That's okay. Neither am I. I'm just a cooking mom. I've got the sausage over here, and we're using just some pork sausage, and we're going to use half of this.
Yeah, let me split it up.
Okay.
The reason that I usually use light kielbasa with this recipe, just to save fat, but the reason I bought this is it's in 16 ounces.
Okay.
So when we cut half of it, we know it's going to be 8 ounces, and you'll see how the Wonderboard for meat works.
Okay, so I'll get to work on slicing that. We'll save that for another recipe.
Terrific. Anyway, let me explain to everyone who's watching how the Wonderboard works. And, for your interest, you can't pile any higher, and you'll see in a second.
Okay.
Just to tell you, I put a little bit of water underneath the Wonderboards that keeps it from sliding.
And we do that with our cutting boards here. We put like a wet paper towel or something, and that's just a good tip.
Right.
My sausage is looking good. Are we
Boy,
ready?
are you quick.
I know. A little bit of I have to be quick. A little bit of olive oil in our kettle over here, Bill. And then should I just move this over?
Yeah, I'll do that for you if it's okay.
You bet.
But this is what's kind of great, and for every ounce of kielbasa and chicken, you don't include... Ooh.
That's okay. We're good.
Okay.
So that's 8 ounces.
That is 8 ounces.
And you can kind of see it right here. So now you know, because I don't have a scale at home. Who has? I mean, if you do and you do all that, that's great. But this is, it takes the guesswork out of it. So right into our kettle here, and we're going to start browning
you put a little bit of olive oil in it.
Yes, I did.
But anyway, just to finish what I was saying is every ounce that you don't include, you can save up to 100 calories and up to 3 grams of fat. So that's the importance of measuring when you're making a recipe like jambalaya or something like that. Yeah. And you can also save money because you're not wasting any, or not including any sausage or meats.
Extra stuff. So we've got the whole other. We can make a whole other meal out of that other that other piece of sausage.
I've chopped up a little bit extra. So let me just measure this.
Okay.
And I don't know if the camera can show what we have here.
Basically, we've got 1 cup of celery.
1 cup.
Should we get that in there?
Well, I wanted to prove to folks that it is 1 cup.
Okay.
I mean, we proved that it was 8 ounces of meat because we know what we chopped up.
There you go. 1 cup.
Can people see?
Very cool.
Where's this? 1 cup. There you go. 1 cup. Very good.
These boards don't lie.
Well, let's do the chicken first.
Chicken. Okay, so we basically have. Is this again 8 ounces?
No, this is 3/4 of a pound, 12 ounces of chicken.
12 ounces of diced boneless chicken breast.
Right.
We're gonna get that in here with the sausage.
We've included the kielbasa, right?
Okay. Get that
And
moving
when that
around.
begins to brown, and we're going to do it a little bit quicker now.
Okay. A little bit of salt.
Yeah, just a pinch of salt, if I might.
You're big on the salt. You say
Yes.
we use way too much
Way
salt.
too much salt. And there's a big difference between...
Use this for your hands.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Salt is a flavor enhancer and salt is a taste. All you need is a very little bit of salt. Think about like, you know, having a cup of unsalted popcorn versus just a little salt on the popcorn, what the flavor is. And it's just a little bit. So all you need is just a very little bit to start improving the flavor of the kielbasa and the chicken.
So my chicken and my kielbasa, and at home you're going to let this cook a little bit longer. We're
Right.
just moving things along.
Right.
For
So once
TV.
it browns up, then we add the Creole, you know, the Trinity, which is green peppers, a cup of green peppers, a cup of chopped onions, and a cup of chopped celery.
Oh, starting to smell really good. This is that time of year where I'm craving kind of the soups and the stews and the, you know.
So it works very well.
Yeah. Exactly.
And what was really, and this, the reason I invented this, Amy, was it's one of my favorite recipes, and it used to take me over an hour to chop and measure and then wash everything because I don't want meats and then that. So now with all 3 Wonder Boards and it measures right there, see how quickly we can do this.
Very cool. All right, I'm going to throw my veggies in.
Please.
So this is the Trinity. You find this in every dish pretty much in New Orleans. 1 cup of celery, 1 cup of onion.
And 1 cup of green pepper.
Green pepper. Also, I was going to say, Bill, is you normally wouldn't think of jambalaya as a light dish. You know what I mean?
No.
You know,
Usually
it
it's
seems...
thousands of calories, but you know the only fat we put in is the olive oil to start browning the kielbasa. And again, usually I use a light kielbasa, which is very low in fat.
They're good, yeah.
They're
They're actually really good.
They really are delicious. And what's wonderful, there's a lot going on in this recipe. There's savory and spicy and smooth and sweet and flavorful. And
Right. Because I think that's the key. When people try and eat healthy, don't be giving me rice cakes. You know what I mean?
That's right, that's right.
That's just not going to happen for me. You know, it's got to be something where I'm full and I feel good about it.
That's
you know,
right.
and then I'm game. I'm okay to try it.
Right.
You know, but otherwise, yeah.
Right. So now that we've sort of like loosened up the vegetables a little bit and browned the meat, we can add a teaspoon of red pepper, white pepper, and black pepper. The red pepper is cayenne pepper.
Black pepper.
If you like it a little less spicy, and the white pepper.
Okay.
You would just use, instead of a teaspoon, you can use a half a teaspoon.
Okay.
And at this point, I use tomato paste rather than tomato sauce. I just find it a smoother, you know, less acerbic flavor.
And this isn't too bad, huh?
I think it's terrific.
I mean, as far as calories and all that kind of good stuff. Okay.
No.
Cool. I always thought tomato paste was, you know, a little more naughty. No?
And,
Basically the cooked down tomatoes, I guess. So.
And I add, you can always just fill up the can with 12 ounces of water. It's 12 ounces of tomato paste, but here's 12 ounces of water, make it easier.
Okay. I do that sometimes to get every little bit out of there.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So this is going to make it a little bit sweet and rich,
Yes.
that tomato paste. Yum. All right, so the water.
Yeah?
Yes, please.
Now, I used to say that you could add tomatoes in every month ending in June, July, or August, but I understand here in September you guys in Minnesota still have wonderful, which I didn't bring with me.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
but
okay.
I always add 2 bay leaves.
Okay.
And if you like a pinch of sage and thyme,
Okay.
you might add that.
Sure. It's kind of
Now-
like everything but the kitchen sink.
Exactly.
In here, huh?
I don't love garlic, but everyone around here, I've made it a Cook's Corner on Saturday night for dinner, or for one of the one of the meals.
We like our garlic here, absolutely. So is this it then?
That's it. And basically, you know, you can cook
the
it
lid
once.
on it?
You can get the lid. You can, if you've browned the chicken and the beef, you can just cook it for 8 to 10 minutes, but I simmer for a long time. Anyway, I brought some that we made last night over there.
Yes, and then you know, you could eat it just like this, but it's great on top of rice, I think, to just kind of stretch it.
Well, actually, jambalaya itself, the rice is in it.
Right.
I prefer to be over rice, so
I agree.
so.
Sometimes too, when you cook it with the rice, you know, just doesn't turn out right. This way, you've got the rice separate. This is healthy. It's just plain white rice, right? Can't go wrong with
Absolutely.
that. Now, I got to ask you. these cutting boards, where can you get them?
Here in Green Bay, they're at Cook's Corner.
Okay.
They're actually having a little bit of a, they're selling all three for $15 this
Okay.
week. That's great. And you can also buy it online at thewonderboard.com.
Okay.
And there's some other areas in Wisconsin and in New York where I live.
This looks absolutely wonderful.
We just launched it about 6 weeks ago, so we're just getting started.
Well, great. I think you've got a hit here. I really do.
Thank
Bill,
you so
thank you
much.
so much. Look at that. I mean, that 160 calories for 1 cup serving.
And only 5 grams of fat.
Ooh.
And 18 grams of protein. So it's a very healthful
Yeah,
meal.
I'd have a little hot sauce on the side, I think. So nice to meet you.
You too. Thank you so very much, Amy.
Thanks
I really
for coming.
appreciate it.
Come back anytime. Again, the Wonder Boards, they're really cool. Might want to pick some up. We'll be right back to wrap things up. Stay with us. I got to find a spoon. This looks good.